Topps Chrome basketball and football is coming. Is this something to get excited about, or is this just another unlicensed product in the mess of unlicensed products out there? Let's talk about this. So now that Fanatics and Topps are gradually taking over the sports card world, they are getting themselves, really prepared for when they take over the basketball and the football licenses. So, and of course, they already have, Fanatics has already acquired Topps. So in baseball, all the Bowman's cards, all of these things, these are being released by the Fanatics company through Topps already. But soon, Fanatics will have basketball and football. Now, to prepare for this, they're starting to get their SKUs ready. And they are going to be sending out and releasing Topps Chrome basketball and football and other products as well very soon. Now, I say Topps Chrome specifically because it's the most iconic. If Prism is from Panini, kind of the most iconic for basketball and football, Topps Chrome is definitely the most iconic one for Topps. So that's going to be the one that everybody's kind of watching for when it first gets released. And they're releasing it as an unlicensed product here a year or 2 years before they actually ever get the license. Now, most of the time, unlicensed product is not so popular. There's a few exceptions. A lot of other people just don't like unlicensed product in general. Although, that being said, a lot of people who don't like unlicensed product, but they like vintage, might actually be liking unlicensed product and not really realizing it. Like the Joe Montana rookie is an unlicensed product. Most of the 1970s basketball cards are unlicensed products. So there's a lot of unlicensed products that aren't thought of that way. But at the same time, people who don't like Panini baseball generally, except for a few SKUs. Now, there's a little bit of a difference with this though, because the Topps Chrome, they have exclusive autograph rights and they have exclusive rights with a number of big name people. Victor Wembanyama is the biggest one of all, but it's not just him. In football, it's a lot of the young CJ Stroud, a lot of the Anthony Richardson, a lot of the young rookies, the hyped up prospects in football you cannot find their autograph in Panini product at all. Which is a big deal for rookies. If you have in none of the Prism products can you find a Victor Wembanyama autograph card. So his rookie cards are the ones that people are looking for, are just the low numbered ones. But, for a lot of us, including myself, even if a card is serial numbered, but it looks identical to all the other cards that aren't serial numbered, like it takes away from the uniqueness of that. And if you're missing completely any kind of autograph, there's no licensed RPAs of Victor Wembanyama, who's like the guy for basketball. There's no licensed RPAs of CJ Stroud, who is like the guy for the rookie class for football. These guys do have autographs. They have rookie patch autos in this unlicensed product. You're going to be able to get a rookie patch auto of Victor Wembanyama, of CJ Stroud, which does make for a more unique situation than most unlicensed products that are released, because you're going to have true chases. In some of those Panini products that are unlicensed, the chases are like players who have retired already. It's not something that the people who are more into the modern cards, who are more into the modern players and the rookie class and stuff, they're not really going for that unlicensed stuff, because that's not what's there. So some people still like it, but it's a very niche audience. Topps Chrome is a little bit more like trying to align itself to not just that niche audience, but to have broader hobby interest. And the way you hear different people on YouTube and with podcasts and stuff talk about it, it seems like most people are thinking of it that way. I don't know if it's an authentic thought, like, that people genuinely like this product more than other unlicensed product, or if they're just contributing to this hype thing and for either selfish reasons or because they're just getting caught up in the moment. I don't know for sure. But Topps Chrome, it's about as iconic as it gets for the last 30 years. So I could see why people are saying that. For myself, I have mixed feelings about it. I do think like the possibilities of the art being wonderful is awesome. They're going to have to, because they have to hide the fact that there's no team logo. So they have to be a little bit more thoughtful and creative of how to make a card that looks good. Some unlicensed product does a terrible job at that. Some does better. So they have to make a little bit more effort. So if they're able to do that in a way that looks nice, that's cool. I've never been one that feels the need for my personal collection to have licensed product. I don't care too much as long as it's a card I like, a player I collect. There's something about it that makes me want to collect it. The license and the unlicensed is not necessarily the breaking point. That being said, I am in the cards I choose to collect. I do like to collect cards that I think have a chance for me to, if I ever wanted to sell them, that I could at least break even on them. I don't like to buy stuff at a high point and then who knows, 2 years down the road, I realize I reshuffle what my personal collection looks like, and these ones don't matter to me, and I'd like to be able to get rid of them for at least what I bought them for, and in general, I am trying to make money in the hobby, so generally I also am collecting things that I think will do long term for the most part. Not always. There's certain cards. I still have a pretty big collection of Nick Van Exel cards, and I'm continuing to build onto that because it was just the main player that I collected when I was a kid. And I don't ever expect to make any money on those. There's no reason those cards would ever go up in value. But I'm still collecting them for nostalgia's sake. But for a lot of the other cards, other than that, I'm collecting them because I like them, but also because I think there's a chance they could go up in value. And some of these unlicensed cards, I don't feel there's as much of a chance. Now, maybe in the first release of Topps Chrome, there's a little bit more of a chance, has a chance to be a little bit more of iconic, because you're going to have the only rookie patch autos of players like Victor Wembanyama, who I do think is going to be a generational talent, even if I think his cards are too high right now. So there is some reason to suspect that this particular release could hold in value a little better than a lot of other unlicensed product tends to do, which is just an interesting point of reflection. Doesn't mean I'm going to go out there and be buying the packs and boxes. Generally, I don't buy packs and boxes except every once in a while for fun, just because, I just think the return on investment on those is terrible. And then if there's a specific card that I do want from something, I'll just look for that card rather than opening packs and boxes hoping to find it and never finding anything worthwhile. I've learned my lesson when I was a kid about not buying packs and boxes too much. I actually have a very vivid memory in my mind of a back in, I think it was the 94-95 or 95-96. I think it was 95-96 Fleer box, buying one, saving up money for my paper route, and then getting no card that was worth more than like $1 in the entire box. There's like 36 packs or something like that, and getting no card that was worth more than $1. And that was actually the catalyst for me quitting the hobby for a long time. I wasn't in it and through most of my like upper high school years, college years, stuff like that. And really, I think more than anything, it was because of that 95-96 Fleer box where I got absolute garbage. I could have thrown the whole box away. It was a waste of my money. And for me as a kid, the amount of effort I would have to go to make that money at a paper route, that was just like, I'm not, this is a waste. This is garbage. And I got mad at the hobby. I left the hobby because of that. And since that time, I've never been that interested in opening packs and boxes, except every once in a while, if I find a good deal, or if I find something I just want to have the experience. But inevitably, every time I've done it so far, I'm still like, that wasn't worth it. I always have that feeling afterwards. It's like, why did I do that? I've never not had that feeling yet in my adult years, which is why I don't open much packs and boxes. So that's all to say in the context of this video. I'm probably not going to buy any packs or boxes of Topps Chrome. But if there's some cards out there that look cool, of some of the players that I like to collect, or that, certain inserts that really like stand out in a certain way, I could see like aiming for them, for a few for the personal collection, looking for some flipping opportunities. I'll probably look. I don't know if any of them, for the personal collection, if it's something I like, then I can just hold it. For flipping opportunities, I'm probably thinking of it in the more short term. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of hype around it. So if I can find within hype cycles, if you're careful, you can find like spots to aim yourself to grab something and then quickly move something. But, you have to be careful in that because you never know what's going to happen with hype cycles. And, when something starts off on a high, as far as the hype is concerned, most of it is going to come down over time. So I think my key is going to be expecting it comes out in the high, seeing the downward trend, finding a moment when I'm like, okay, here's a player. I'm going to grab this player and try to flip them, finding some arbitrage opportunities here and there. So I think that's probably going to be my approach as far as making money with Topps Chrome. I'm not going to like spend that much energy on it. I'm not doing nearly as much flipping as I was. I'm doing a bit, but I'm slowing down on that. You can even tell I'm slowing down on my YouTube content here. It's just life has gotten so busy, so I have to kind of pick my battles, choose what I want to talk about on YouTube, choose what I want to aim myself in the sports card world. Choose things for my personal collection are also I'm spending a little bit more time with that these days. Just because life is busier in the US than it has ever been at any other point in my life. It's a good busy, but it's a busy. So anyway, that's just some of my thoughts about Topps Chrome. I'm curious to hear from you all. Are you guys interested, and are you eager and waiting for this Topps Chrome release, or are you more excited about this sort of thing once it's actually a licensed product, or do not care too much about this in general. I know that once the licensed products are released, I'm excited about some. You know, I am really quite excited about Stadium Club stuff. When I was a kid, Stadium Club was probably what I bought most. Now, mostly that was because it was the cheapest, but I also really liked the cards. You know, the photography on them is awesome. They look cool, and some of the inserts were really quite cool. Some of like the Rising Stars inserts, and there's a number of inserts that are still really low end. Like you can get, you know, the best player in the set in some of the insert sets will still be just like $1 card or a $2 card or something, but look cool. And I like that. For the personal collection, that's my preference. Some of my very favorite cards to PC are things like the Skybox Emotion Intense, for example, which are really not very expensive. The Jordan is, which is why I'll probably never get that one, but they're all under $20. Or the Rising Stars is another one. Like even the Shaq card, which might be the highest one in that one, or maybe the penny one is, or something like that. But the Shaq card's like $5 or under. I love the look of that. It's just so cool. So you know, if they bring back some of these like low end inserts from some of these different sets, I know they're not Skybox, so don't expect things like Intense. I do miss Skybox in the sports card world too. You know, I know that they do have the Skybox Metal Universe stuff that they release every once in a while, but you know, I've kind of gotten bored of that. I thought it was cool for a little bit. For a little bit, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. There's some unique stuff in here, and I'm like, yeah, I'm over it. But if Skybox ever got eaten up by Fanatics and they were added into the SKU set, that would be kind of interesting. Because I do miss some of the cards that were released back then. And I am excited in some ways to move on from some of what is now being released by Panini. I've gotten bored of it. I think part of it is probably they've also lost their incentive to get more creative and to have different ideas. So I don't think there's been that many like new inserts that are that interesting to me. I'm not a big fan of the inserts that are just like case hit kind of inserts, because I'm not going to chase those. I want inserts that are really cool looking, that are moderate priced, you know, that are not like necessarily flipping opportunities, but are good for the PC. That's what's missing from Panini, I think. They don't have much of that. They have a few, you know, I could see how some people might get into like the My House cards or, you know, a few others, but I don't like the look of those nearly as much as like it doesn't cost them that much more to make a really beautiful looking insert than it does to make just kind of a boring looking insert. So I don't know why they don't have more kind of low end stuff that just looks really cool. There's a few, but not that many, and nothing that like sparks me like some of the stuff from the mid-90s did. So hopefully, you know, with Fanatics getting into this space, they're going to create a different situation. They're going to be, it seems to me, a little bit more reflective and changing things as time goes on, not just kind of expecting collectors to change to them, which I feel like kind of what Panini's been doing. They've been just doing their thing and expecting the collectors to shift their preferences to what the options are. Topps seems a little bit more like they're on the lookout for what's actually like what the customers want and then adjusting things to that. My sense, I don't know for sure. So we'll see what happens in the future. But anyway, that's it for this video. I'll see you next one. Peace.